This is the Loopy letters video, a group of letters that are together because they are based on the same pattern. Each of them are written in a similar way in the beginning. So we're going to start with the letter E, and I'm going to show you right here what that looks like. You start at the bottom and then work your way up and make a loop. Pretty simple for the letter E. I'm going to show you down here without the tracing dots, starting at the bottom, making a loop, and then making a tail if that E connects to another letter. So on the bottom, it has a word, the word T, T being a review letter from Climb and Slide, and then followed by two of our new letters, the letter E. So starting at the bottom for T, climb and slide, and loopy letter E's. And again, like we talked about in the climb and slide video, I'm not going to pick up my pencil or pen to dot a I or cross a T until the whole word is finished. In cursive, you don't lift up your pen or pencil until you're fully done with the word. I'm going to turn the page. Now I'm on L, and L is pretty much the same thing as an E, except the difference is how tall it is. That's why it's important to practice on cursive lines so you know which letters are taller and which are shorter. A cursive E does not cross the dotted line, but a cursive L does. And that's how you know the difference between an E and an L. So just like an E, that's my L. Starting at the bottom, going up and making a loop, just like that. And I'm going to show you a word using the letter L with a review letter from a different set, the rock around letters. I have all, A-L-L. So A is a rock around letter. I make my hook, and then I rock back around. And then I make my L's, which will go to the very top of that solid line on cursive lined paper, being twice the size as a letter that only goes to my dashed line. Next I have cursive letter H. So I have my loop here, making it part of my loopy letter. I'm going to start at the bottom, make my loop up high, kind of like the L, come straight down, then retrace that line going back up, and that's cursive letter H. It's, once you get down to the bottom, it's a lot like making a print letter H. The way that you go back up, you just make that curved tail at the end. And then I have a word here, he, two loopy letters together. So I'm going to start at the bottom, go up, make my hump of the H, and then make my E, and that's he. Next page is K. So I'm going to start here at the bottom, going straight down like I did for H. Then I'm going to come back up. I'm going to finish off my K like that. I'm going to show you again down here without my cursive lines. Make my loop going straight down, coming back up, making my top half of the lower part of K, and then coming down, making my tail. And then I have a full word, elk, all with loopy letters. So I have E, L, Next, I'm moving on to B. B has one of those trailing tails that are unique, kind of like W, where with my other letters, like L did, like E did, the end of the letter goes straight down to the bottom. But with B, just like W from our last set of letters, its tail only goes about halfway down. And so if you have to connect another letter to B, you're making that connection halfway down instead of at the bottom. So on the tracing lines, I'm starting at the bottom, making a loop, and then coming back up, and my strange halfway down tail. Here is B outside of the cursive lines, starting at the bottom, up, loop, coming back up, and then my tail only coming halfway down. So I'll be connecting in the word bell, B to E, and the connection is going to be made halfway down. So starting at the bottom, going straight up, coming back down, back up, and then my tail. And I'm going to make my E from that point, and then my two L's. And then I'm going to go next to the letter F. And letter F, it's going to go down past the point of the bottom line. I think we've had G and Q so far do that, and not many other letters, but F will do that. So on the trace lines, down at the bottom, going all the way up, and then I'm going to start going down, and I'm going to go past the solid line. Then I'm going to make this move, and then my tail. So outside of my trace lines, going straight up, all the way down past the solid line, then coming back up, making a connection there, and then my tail. I'm going to do that one more time, going straight up, all the way down past the solid line, making a connection there, and then the tail. If this or any other letter is a little bit hard to only see just one or two times, you can always pause or rewind the video to see it again. I'm going to write the word fell, making my F, connecting that to an E, and the E to two L's. And there is fell. And now my last letter, which will be J, going past the bottom solid line as well, starting right here. I'm going to go up. This is kind of a climb and slide letter and a loopy letter. It could fall in any category, but we're going to have J with our loopy letters. This is how it's done without trace lines down here, starting at the bottom, going up, climbing, sliding back down, making my loop and my tail. And of course, I'm dotting something, and I wait until I am done with the whole word before I dot it. So now that I'm on a word, jaw, you'll see that being done. So making my J first, climb, slide, loop, my rock around letter A, my climb and slide letter W, and there's W with that tail that only comes up halfway. And now I will dot my J. So if any of these letters were a little bit hard, I went too fast, you have the capability of pausing or rewinding to see that letter again. If you're not sure if you're doing it right, then rewind it or pause it, because if you don't and you weren't doing it right, it's going to become a habit. You weren't sure, so you wrote it a certain way, and if it was the wrong way, you're going to get used to writing it the wrong way, and that will become a habit that will be harder for you to break when it gets caught later on. So be sure you're writing it the right way before you start practicing it. Keep that in mind.